Today, I'm sharing 9 outdoor products that I never, ever use. I grew up in a house where my dad was like, never say never, so hi dad, thanks for watching. First up, survival kits and pre-made first aid kits. These things. Okay, so on the surface, they might seem really convenient and really easy. And it seems like a great idea, right? Everything you need in one convenient place. In my experience, any kit that's pre-made is generic and generally incomplete. You basically get these basic, often low quality items that might not even scratch the surface of what you actually need in the backcountry, especially when you consider the specific risks as they pertain to where you're going, what you're doing, what the season is, what the temperature is, all of those things. They might be missing crucial medications, the right tools, and you might not even have enough supplies if you're headed out with a group. And don't get me started on all these fluff items, things that just add bulk and weight without providing any real value when you're in a pinch. Plus, how familiar are you going to be with these contents when you've never even opened this package before an emergency situation? And a big one that people often forget is medication expiration dates. And some supplies actually go bad. So even when you buy one of these pre-made kits, you can't just stick it in your car or in your pack and forget about it for a decade. You need to be constantly checking and replacing items. But the big reason that I skip these is that they're not personal. They don't take into account any specific medical conditions, any allergies, or even my own skills and knowledge. Instead, I make my own kits. It's a little more work up front, but it's so worth it. I base all my kits specifically on where I'm going, who I'm going with, and the potential risks and hazards I might encounter, how far I'll be from help, and even the weather conditions. The first aid kit that I use for mountain biking with my family is significantly different than the first aid kit that I use when I guide backcountry wilderness trips, because the risks associated with those two activities is so different. Next, kitschy, trendy, single-use items. Think about things like that collapsible saw or the infamous tick key. Okay, the tick key, right? It has one job, to remove ticks. And sure, it probably does okay. I've always been taught in my wilderness first responder certifications just to use tweezers. Tweezers are a multitasking superhero. I think that tweezers are one of the most frequently used items in my first aid kit. I've used them for removing splinters, thorns, glass shards, and I've even used them to clean out wounds and debris in the backcountry. See, so much more versatile. Now, back to these single-use gadgets. They typically do one specific task. Adequate, maybe, but they lack the versatility for other situations. Once we had a collapsible saw break when we were trying to get our Christmas tree, and my kids were really sad. My husband was super pissed, and it was like, why didn't we just pack a little regular saw a half-mile down the trail to get our Christmas tree? So yeah, kitschy items no longer have a place in my life. Next up, hydration bladders. Okay, so this one has a little bit of a history with me. It involves a bottle of wine, cross-country skis, and a Camelback. And let's just say, since that experience, I have not wanted to drink anything out of a Camelback. Personally, I don't really like Camelbacks. I don't like how annoying they are to clean and store. I don't like the taste of water. It tastes very plastic to me. And I've seen a lot of Camelbacks puncture in the backcountry, leaving people without any other way to drink water. With a Camelback, it's also hard to know how much water you're drinking throughout the day. And while it can be a very convenient reminder to drink water when you have this little hose hanging off of your shoulder, it's just not for me. And sometimes the hoses on hydration bladders freeze in the winter when it's cold. And then you can't get your water, and that's annoying. And sometimes they're annoying to fill up with water. I just find everything about hydration bladders annoying. But if you use a hydration bladder and you love it and that's your thing, then go for it. By all means, use whatever it's gonna take to get you to drink water in the backcountry. I just personally don't like hydration bladders. And if you disagree with me, let's chat in the comment below. What I use in the backcountry is just a regular old Nalgene water bottle. And that's my go-to for hydration. Next, any specialized cleaning stuff like Bottle Bright tablets. I'll use down wash if I'm washing a down sleeping bag or a down jacket, but that's about the only time that I can think where I use specialized cleaning stuff. Most of the time I found that I can get outdoor clothing and gear pretty clean with what I already use for cleaning, with vinegar, baking soda, a little bit of bleach, Dr. Bronner's, whatever I already have on hand is gonna probably do a pretty adequate job of cleaning my outdoor clothing and gear, except for anything that's down. Okay, my next item is a bit of a confession because I have used this product a lot in the past, and it's only recently that I have changed my ways, and that is pack covers. I can't believe I agree with the thru hikers on this one, but yeah, I don't use a backpack cover. Some backpacks come with built-in covers, and if a pack does come with a built-in cover, I'm not gonna rip that out to save weight. I'm not that kind of a person, but I might use it then, but I'm not gonna go out and buy a pack cover. I just find that it's a little bit unnecessary. It doesn't cover all of the pack, so you're still gonna get wet on your back and the backside of your pack. I just think a better way is to use a good old trash bag, a good old compactor trash bag, or I have a lot of these bags that we use on the river and the lake to keep our gear dry, and most of the time I just put stuff that I don't want to get wet, my clothing, my sleeping bag, my food in one of these dry bags, and it does a great job, and it also keeps my gear organized and compact. So I use these bags all the time. Even when I'm traveling, I use bags like this to organize my gear. All right, next up, a multi-tool. I grew up in the Swiss Army knife era. Are Swiss Army knives the thing? Do people still use Swiss Army knives? But I remember getting a Swiss Army knife when I was like 12 years old, and I thought it was super duper cool. And then when I was in the Army, I always carried a Gerber or a Leatherman on my belt. And then towards the end of my military career, I just got a knife. My husband got me this super cute pink knife on one deployment, and it slipped and fell into an outhouse, and I was really sad. And then he bought me the same knife a couple years later. So clearly he loves me. But anyway, I have never been in the backcountry with a multi-tool and thought, oh man, this corkscrew is really gonna come in handy for this bottle of wine I don't have. Or, gee, I wish I had a Phillips screwdriver here. I just think multi-use tools are like the jack of trades, the master of none when it comes to outdoor equipment. And I'd much rather have just a small, simple knife that's gonna do a good job of what knives are supposed to do, and that is cutting things. So yeah, please do not get me a Gerber for Christmas. Next up, a flashlight. I don't like flashlights because I don't see the point. First, I rarely use a light when I'm in the backcountry because I don't want a bright light to affect my night vision. It's a thing, you guys. I like to let my eyes adapt and adjust to the darkness. I will use a headlamp if I'm getting dressed in my tent and it's super dark, or if I want to read a book. But for the most part, I don't use lights in the backcountry. And if I do, why would I want to use a flashlight? Why would I want to use anything that requires the use of my hands? A headlamp is so much better, so you can have two free hands. And finally, solar chargers. The promise of free energy from the sun. It sounds great in theory, right? But for me, solar chargers are just a waste of space and weight. They are completely reliant on sufficient direct sunlight, which is so unreliable depending on the weather and the time of day. And even when you do have good sun, the charging speeds can be painfully slow, especially for larger devices. Some chargers can also be surprisingly bulky, and a decent quality one can be pretty expensive. They're just practically useless. I mean, if we're thinking about putting people on Mars, surely we can come up with a solar charging option that's actually gonna work. So I honestly just bring a power bank. It's a little bulky, it's heavy, but this isn't 1995. We've all got a lot of devices to charge in the backcountry. Charging phones, watches, headlamps, cameras, a power bank is just much more reliable. But to be honest, this is just my list of things that I don't use in the backcountry right now. It could change in the future, maybe, we'll see. So there you have it, 9 items that just don't make the cut for me. Now, I want to be clear, these products can be useful in certain situations for certain people. What about you? Are there any particular outdoor products that you just never use? Let's chat in the comments and then go check out this video next because YouTube thinks you're gonna like it.